some point in the relatively near future, there should be a push coming out. Maybe a 110 push or something along those lines for the Terran. I'm actually wondering if Terran is getting any upgrades right now, if DarkElf has gotten even an army. I didn't actually see it, wasn't really looking for it either, but definitely if the observers go back to the base, I'll go check for that as well. And the Reaver being dropped, not really going to be able to do anything. Actually able to kill off a Marine and a SCV, so there's something there. And Shuttle's going to be forced to retreat here as DarkElf starts pushing out. And this is a pretty damn strong push from DarkElf. There are a lot of tanks in there. Some Marines as well is going to make Shuttle micro very, very difficult. Vultures coming out for support as well, and I'm not sure if Shuttle's really prepared for this. This is going to require some good Reaver micro from him. So far, it's looking pretty good, although that dud scarab is definitely going to hurt him a lot. I think he should have gotten a siege tank kill with it. And Shuttle just trying to bide time. He's not going to have Storm out in time. Might be able to go DTs if the Templar Archives is close to finishing right now. He might be able to get some DTs out to fight this. But there is a scanner up, so that's going to be problematic for him as well. But he does have Zealots loaded up in that shuttle, so he could go for some Zealot bombs. There we go. There we see the Zealots being dropped, or one of them being dropped, but not able to do too much. I think one Marine might have died, but so did the Zealot as well. Reaver Scarab going off, killing off a couple more Vultures, but Shuttle being pinned back, being pushed back. This is textbook just slow push, not even a slow push, this is just a textbook push by DarkElf. Gonna go and establish a contain here, throwing up supply depots, missile turrets, throwing down mines, tanks everywhere. This is a very strong contain right now for DarkElf, and Shuttle is in a whole lot of trouble. He's got a lot of Zealots coming out there. I think he might be waiting for Zealot speed. I think that's all we're waiting for. As soon as Zealot speed, there's the Zealot speed, and now he's going to start charging. There's some good Reaver play from Shuttle, able to pick off the extraneous tank, the tank that was out in front. More gateways coming down, and Shuttle really needs to stop this. I'm sure DarkElf is going to continuously reinforce this entire area, and that Reaver is worth its weight in gold right now, doing as much damage as it possibly can, doing very well. And now it looks like Shuttle's going to go and try and stop this. If Shuttle can break this, we'll see a huge change in the game, but if DarkElf is successful, the Zealots are getting into the tank line. A lot of the tanks are going down. The Reaver being dropped in the back, able to kill off some of the Vultures. Still Zealots alive. They might actually be able to push this back. There are a lot of Zealots. A great Reaver Scarab going off, but I think the Shuttle did go down to the turret, and it looks like DarkElf Shuttle might be able to push this back, and it's so close. He did a lot of damage. Shuttle did a lot of damage. They're not completely able to break the contain, though. Most of the tanks went down, but there's still more units streaming in for DarkElf. Shuttle needs to make sure that these remaining tanks go down, and he can really start pushing out again and take advantage of his third base and all of the economy. It looks like all of the tanks have gone down. DarkElf is going to be pushed back. That is absolutely huge. Shuttle was able to hold back that push, and DarkElf is going to have to start again. And he actually, surprise, DarkElf did not take another base during that whole engagement. Usually you'll see Terran players take a third base during that push, but DarkElf, importantly enough, did not. So that is really going to be, I think that could be a key problem for him. He's going to need some economy soon. His main base isn't going to be able to last forever, and now we see the command center going down. I think it was a little bit of a mistake for him to wait this long. I think that base should have been about up and running already by now, but I guess he felt like he really wanted to try and push that attack home. Unfortunately, it was unsuccessful. I think with his remaining forces, those last couple tanks should have tried to keep them at home. It was pretty much a losing effort to try and push that contain. There's too many Zealots and not nearly enough Vultures to really push him back. But the game is the game has sort of reset here. Both players sticking to their sides of the map now, and it looks like Shuttle is gonna try and clear out the bottom left and maybe take the remaining two bases in that area. And at the same time, at the bottom right, we see something for DarkElf that could be an SCV or it could be a Vulture. It's hard to tell which. I'm sure the observers will hopefully go over there soon. An observer falling for Shuttle at the 3 o'clock position, but he sees that that's there, and he might actually be sending a Shuttle over with a Reaver. Unfortunately, this is being scouted out by extremely well-placed mines. So we'll see what Shuttle decides to do here, and how DarkElf decides to respond. DarkElf should be able to respond to this pretty well. There's the turret, going to deter the Shuttle somewhat, and Shuttle's sending a lot of Zealots over into that area, and Shuttle's going to lose this Shuttle. Oh, absolutely piss poor play or micro by Shuttle. They're carelessly losing that Shuttle to 2 turrets. Very careless. Probably lost a Reaver in there is what I'm guessing. Could be High Templar if he was going for a Storm Drop, but I haven't really seen any High Templar yet, and I think the Citadel was simply for speed at the moment, so I think that was probably a Reaver in there. We see the Stargate going down, so we're going to see some Arbiters coming out soon. I'm sure the Temple Archives is at least down. And these Zealots catching some Vultures out in the open, but the Vultures are going to sneak by, and they're going to be able to go to the bottom left. They're not going to be able to stop this base from going up, but they are going to be able to harass this cannon, probably going to kill the cannon, and if they wander around, they will be able to find and dispatch the probe that was building that base as well. So we see DarkElf trying to transition into some Vulture harassment techniques here as he rebuilds some of his tank forces and techs up to science vessels as well. He's absolutely going to need those science vessels in order to combat the Arbiters that will be coming in the next minute or so, minute or two for Shuttle. And Shuttle actually is sending a lot of Dragoons to the bottom left, going to clear that out. That base is up, and he probably needs to do a probe transfer from his main into there. But that probe transfer is actually being caught by Vultures, so we see a lot of the Vultures actually going down to these Vultures. Almost all of the probes, yeah, the entire probe transfer except for one probe being destroyed by just 4 or 5 Vultures. So DarkElf making some very good economic play here with those Vultures, making good use of them. Even as they get caught out here, Shuttle being forced to defend his resupply routes, losing some probes as well. And we see a scan going off, so DarkElf saw that there's 2 gates and a Temple Archives going down, so we know that this is going to be Arbiters, knows that he doesn't have to worry about carriers or anything, so we're not going to see a carrier build from Shuttle, at least not yet. And instead we're just going to see a transition into Arbiter play. And a lot of Dragoons still being produced, catching a lot of the Vultures for DarkElf off guard. And I think DarkElf should maybe start moving his Vultures, instead of just coming out over his bridge and his natural, go to his third base and come out of the exit that side, so that way they're coming out from a little less well-known position and can maybe sneak out a little bit more effectively. His last couple groups have been caught pretty effectively, and he's lost 2 or 3 each time. And Spider-Man actually catching a couple of Dragoons for Shuttle, which is unfortunate, but however, he is doing a pretty good job of clearing them away. I'm sure this is more, even though he's losing a Zealot here and a Zealot there, it's much better that he just loses a Zealot at a point like this rather than losing it at a very important time. And the science facility is researching EMP right now. We should be seeing science vessels popping out any second now, along with the Arbiter Tribunal. I believe it should be down right now, should be almost finished. High Templar are out as well, so we're going to be seeing some Storms as well. Storms are going to be very, very important here. There's a ton of tanks for DarkElf. If Shuttle can place some nice Storms, he could definitely get a big military advantage in this game if he can do that well, if he can micro it. And it does look like, I'm seriously curious as to what is in the bottom right now at the 6 o'clock position as well. If those are seriously just Vultures or if there's actually SCVs waiting there. Looks like Shuttle's setting up for the natural expansion of the bottom left as well, so he's going to try and get to 5 bases pretty soon here. And it looks like DarkElf is ready to start pushing out, and he's laying down his minefield, going to start pulling out some tanks as well, throwing down a turret, and his science vessel is also there. And I'm actually curious as to whether DarkElf is building science vessels out of just 1 starport or 2. I suspect it's just 1 because he doesn't really have that many, but he could actually build out of 2 and really increase that number and do a lot of damage. We're seeing DarkElf's first-person view right now, and that is just a massive amount of tanks. I wonder if he actually is possibly lacking in Vulture and Goliath numbers. That might end up being a problem. We saw Stasis being researched there by DarkElf, or by Shuttle as well. As we've moved on to Shuttle's first-person view, and Shuttle is going to try and engage right here, going to try and keep this push from doing too much damage, and he's actually getting into the tank line very, very well. Shuttle getting right into the tank line with his Zealots. He might actually want to pull back here. Good storm by Shuttle as well, and this is a great watching a battle orchestrated by a pro gamer, and unfortunately I think his Zealots have all gone down. Tank numbers just too much.